Hello everyone. Today we are talking about factoring trinomial of the form ax² plus bx plus c. So this one is a little bit different than the last unit or last section where we factored the very basic trinomial of the form x² plus bx plus c, and a was 1. Now a is not 1 anymore. So the idea is we're going to use the same setup for factoring. So in this case, what we will do is that we are going to use the vertical method to do the factoring. So we're going to get 3x². So that means that we must have 3x and x. Those are the only options that we can get 3x² when we multiply them. Okay. The next thing is that this number 10, we need to have two numbers that you multiply, you get 10, and then based on those two numbers, when you add them and then you manipulate, you should get 17. Now remember, this 3 does make a difference now, so it's not just simple of two numbers you multiply, you get 10, you add them, you get 17. That's not true. You have to do the crossing so that you can see what's happening. So the very basic one for 10 will be 5 and 2, and those are just the first option. I may have to change it. And then in this case, you notice that when you do a quick crossing, you do the cross that, right? So you get 6x in here. Let me put it up there. 6x when you multiply, and then that would give you 5x. But when you add 5x and 6x, these two, you will not get 17x. So that means that 5 and 2 they are not the good option, so we got to come up with another option. By the way, you could switch them across as well, right? So we can have 5 down here and 2 up there, because when we say 5, that means that it's going to be in the same bracket as 3x, and when I say 2 here, that means it will be in the same bracket of x. But if you switch it around, then that may work. So let's do that. So let's put 5 beside x and 2 beside 3x. Okay, let's look at this option. So we got 2 and 5 in here. So we're going to do the checking again. That would give us 15x when we multiply it across. And then we do the same thing with the 2. That would give us 2x. When we add these two guys, what do we get? 17x. Okay. So we got the factors 3x plus 2 and x plus 5. Now this is one method of doing it. There's another method. It's called factor by grouping. I'm going to show you guys that as well. All right, method 2 is like this. All right, the first thing you do is that you look at the 3 and 10. All right, and you can come up with two numbers. You multiply. So the two numbers that they multiply to 30, because 10 times 3 is 30. And the same two numbers add up to the middle term 17. That is very important. Okay, so that's the difference. All right, and once you come up with these two numbers, then you have to do the next step. So what are the two numbers? So 30 and 17. So it's very straightforward. So it seems that 15 and 2 works for both, because 15 plus 2 is 30, and 15 plus 2 is 17. 15 times 2 is 30. So here it is. Great. Now that you have 15 and 2, you break up the middle term, the 17x, the middle term, which is 17x, using these numbers. Okay, let's do it. 3x squared plus 15x plus 2x plus 10. And this is why we call this factor by grouping, because you're going to group them like that and factor each of the pairs. So for the first one, so I'm going to put it in a kind of a bracket like that and like that. All right. For the first two terms, what is the GCF? The GCF is 3x, open the bracket, you get x plus 5 plus. Second, for the second one, 2x plus 10, what is the GCF? Is 2. Take the 2 out, you get x plus 5. Very good. Now, this was almost the same question as I did the extension factoring question last section. So what is the GCF now? We have to factor that again. All right, so factor. So this is called factoring, right, for each pair. And we're going to factor it again. In this case, what is the GCF? Is x plus 5 and x plus 5. So it would be x plus 5 out, and then the 2. So for a first term, x plus 5 times 3x, plus, we want to get the second term, x plus 5 times 2 will give us the second term. And that is another way of factoring this. And if you check, you notice that 3x plus 2, x plus 5 is right here, 3x plus 2, x plus 5. And it doesn't matter which one it comes first, which one's second. In terms of the x plus 5 and 3x plus 2, you can have the x plus 5 first if you want to. And that's how you do that. This is called factor by grouping. Okay? Not a lot of people are crazy about this method, but it does work. And if you want to use the rote method like this, it makes sense to you, use that.